Hello all and welcome. We are on episode 5 of using black and white film to better understand the photographic process. Yes, it's a mouthful. This episode we are going to develop the black and white film that we took when we were doing Major's portrait in the studio, the last couple of videos. In this video, we are going to go step by step through the process. We're going to take the film out of the camera, we're going to put it on a reel, we're going to make some chemistry, we're going to develop the film, and then we're going to look at some negatives at the end. Yay! The first thing we have to do is to get the film out of the camera. This is my Bronica. I love this. This is what we used in the last video, taking the portrait of Major. And I used this long time ago when I shot film at weddings. I would shoot 35 millimeter for the candid work, and then for the portraits I would always use a medium format. And because there's only 12 rolls on my square format 120 film, you would have to change film quite a bit. I had 2 camera backs that I could use, which would help a lot. If I had an assistant with me, they could change one roll of film while I continued shooting, which was very great. Now, in order to get this film off the back of the camera, there's a little slide, and you would just line up the dots, which are the other way around. You would line up the dots just like that. There's 2 dots right there. And then you squeeze. Nope, you don't. Then you press this little button. There's a little tiny button right here that you press, and that will release the back from the camera. And then if I was my next roll of film, I would just put that in there like that, punch it in, take out the slide, and then move it to number 1, and I'm ready to go. Now, to get the film out of here, out of the back, we would use these 2 little clasps here, and you press them together, and it's going to it up, and then you take out the film. The anatomy of a 120 roll of film. 120 has 3 different parts to it. It has the spool, it has a paper backing, and it has the actual film itself, the celluloid film in between the paper. We're going to take this roll apart so that you can see what it looks like. Now, 120 film can be used in many different cameras. So there's a 6x6, there is a 645, and there's a 6.7, and there's probably panorama, I believe. There's different ones. Now, the roll of film doesn't change. All those cameras use the 120. The only difference in it is how the camera advances the film. So with a 645, it doesn't advance it as far as it would with a 6.7. Different sizes of cameras take the same film. So we're going to take this apart. There is the paper, and we're going to unroll that, and you have a bit of a leader. Now, this paper protects the film from getting exposed. Ooh, look, exposed. And we're going to keep going, and then all of a sudden, there it is. Now, this is really old film, so it's very curly. Voila! And that is what the 120 looks like. Ta-da! This is everything you need to develop film at home. You don't have to have a darkroom. You can actually do this at home. We are dealing with chemicals though, so you want to make sure that there's no kids around or the pets are away in the other room or something. You want to make sure that you're doing everything cleanly and safely. What you need your exposed roll of film. You need a developing tank. You also need the reel. Your film, once you take it off the spool, is going to go onto the reel, and it's going to go into the developing tank. Then you need developer, stop bath, which I'm using water, and fixer. With the developer and fixer, you also need containers to store the chemicals in, and I highly suggest when you're mixing these chemicals that you use different containers to mix them as well. I always had one container that was for developer and one container that was just for the fixer, and I never mixed the two. I also have a funnel that will help put the chemicals into the containers. You need to have a thermometer, a stir stick, and also a dark bag. This is really important. You're going to put the film on the spool, and it has to be done in complete darkness. Now, going into your bathroom and maybe stuffing all the seams with something, if you can see any amount of light coming through your door, you cannot develop film in there. It has to be completely dark. Dark bag. I'm going to show you how this works in a little bit. Now, I just want to talk about the chemicals. I haven't developed film in such a long time that I actually went to Photo and I was talking with Kathy. Kathy is amazing. She has been working with alternative processes for many, many years, and I knew she was the person to talk to. So if you have any questions about film developing or anything like that, Photo is your place. And no, this isn't sponsored. I've just been a customer there for like 30 years. Anyway, I had a good chat with Kathy, and one of the things about chemistry the old way is it was very toxic. So chemicals are very bad, and horribly in high school and in college, we would just dump the chemicals down the drain, and nobody ever thought too much about it. Of course, nowadays you can't really do that. It's not safe, and it's not good for the environment. These chemicals that we're using for developing today are a company. It's called Sgsmåk Film. They're a company out of Alberta, and the chemicals are much less harsh and better, not as bad for the environment as they used to be. I just had a chance to go through their website. They have the black and white chemicals, they have color chemicals, they have black and white film, color film, and printing paper. So all kinds of really cool things, and not so hard on the environment. Yay! So I highly recommend, if you're going to do some developing yourself, try and choose the better for the environment chemicals instead of the really harsh ones. This is a dark bag. Looks like a funny shirt. There's no hole up at the top, but there is at the bottom. There's 2 zippers down here. This is to make sure that your film does not get exposed. Now, when you're going to use a dark bag, you're going to put all of your reel and your tank and your film and everything you are going to set inside the bag. When I'm doing this, I keep the tank and the cover to the back of the bag, and then I keep the roll and the reel and the film at the front. You're going to put your hands in here, and you are going to work in this space. You're going to put your, like that, and you are going to do up the zipper. Whoa. And it gets stuck all the time. There we go. Do the zipper. Do the other zipper. So there's 2 levels of darkness. When you're putting your arms in, you want to make sure that your arms are all the way in. You don't want to have any light getting into this dark bag when you are loading the film. With my hands in the dark bag, you take the reel and the film and you start loading it. You put the cover and you make sure the cover is on good and tight, and then you can take your hands out and you can open up the dark bag. Now, once you put your hands in the dark bag, as soon as you open that film and it's, you know, you've exposed all your fabulous photos on it, you cannot take your arms out of the dark bag. So whatever you need needs to be in the dark bag. If you pull your arms out, you are going to have a chance of exposing, having stray light come in and expose your film, which you don't want. There are 2 different systems for reels and tanks. One is a metal system and one is a plastic system. I couldn't find my plastic tank, so plastic reels are easier to load the film onto because they have this ratchet system. The metal reel takes up less chemicals, which is probably why I chose to keep these ones more so than the plastic ones. But we are going to try. So, first time in many, many years, all of what I'm going to do now, you would be doing in the dark bag. Your hands are in there, the tank, and pretend the dark bag is here. It's an invisible dark bag. You're going to feel your reel, and there is a little metal latch here, and your film is going to go just underneath that. Now, this film is very curled, and the emulsion side that has been exposed to light is on the bottom. So that is the side that is going to face down, and then the film has a natural curl to it. Now, you don't want to put your fingers on the bottom side where the emulsion is, because the oil from your fingers could leave a mark and then it won't develop properly. Like there's all, yeah. And try not to put your fingers on either side. So you're just going to hold the film from the edges. You're going to feel in there, you push the film in, and then you just start wrapping it around. Now I'm slightly putting pressure on the edges, just so that they will bend just a little to get onto the reel. If you should happen to miss and your film touches, it doesn't connect properly, and these two films touch each other, the chemistry can't get in there to develop the film. So you're going to come up with these big splotches that are undeveloped. All right, now this is going to go in. Remember, we're in the dark bag still. The reel goes in the tank. The cover goes onto the tank, and you want to make sure that that cover is on good and tight. You don't want any light getting in there. When we go to put chemicals in it, we're just going to flip off this top part, and that's where the chemicals goes in, and there's no light getting in there. Here we go. We're going to mix the developer into the water. Reading the instructions, very important. For this particular developer, the mix is 10 milliliters with 490 milliliters of water. When I was talking to Kathy at Bow Photo, she suggested just do 500 milliliters of water and then add the 10 into that. That's the easiest way to get the correct measurement. And I couldn't find my little tiny measuring thing, so Major always has stuff. I have a little 10 milliliter syringe here. Woohoo! All right, let's take 10 mils out of here. There we go. 10 milliliters, and then we're going to put it into here. Oh, that is very gooey. I haven't used this before. It's very cool. And we're going to stir that up. Like that. Mix it up. Now when I started mixing, I actually put the temperature at the 20 degrees Celsius so that the chemistry will be ready to go when I need to use it. And we're going to put that into the bottle. That, I don't know whether I rinsed, I think I did. I don't need to use the funnel for this. I say that and then spill it, look at that. Perfect. And there we go. Developer mixed. Next up is the fixer. So, reading this one, it says mix with 800 milliliters of water, then fill to make 1 liter. But I don't really need 1 liter, I only need 500 milliliters. So we have it at 400 milliliters of water, and then we're going to add this to bring it up to 500. Math, whoa! I'm actually going to use the stir stick this time, and we are going to stir it up. Fantastic! fixer is made. And now, as I said before, we should have a stop bath as well, but I am just going to use water. We are now ready to develop the film. Now, in the space that I'm working in here, we actually don't have running hot water. So I have been putting my developer in a little bit of warm water, which I heated in the kettle, and I've brought it up to the proper temperature. For timing, on the handy dandy label, it actually has our timing on here. It's the Fuji Acros, and it says 12 minutes and 25 seconds. Now, because this film is old, we are going to add 2 minutes to that time. So we're going to do 14 minutes and 25 seconds. With black and white, depending on the temperature that you use and how much you agitate, and there's all kinds of different things that you can do, that you can play with, that's going to change the look of your film. Again, it's not something you can do in digital. So there's all these decisions that you have to make when you're doing black and white film that is going to affect your image and what you see in your head and when you get it out. So at this point, because I haven't used this developer and this film in a long time, I am going to go with just a regular develop time. Added that more time just because it's old, and I'm going at the temperature that they've said. We agitate the film once every minute. Now, if you want to have a different effect and you want to have more contrast, you can agitate it more. But we're going to stick to the regular way, and I'm going to pour in the developer. I have my little handy dandy timer happening here on my phone. We're going to pour the developer in. There we go. And once the developer is in, that's when I'm going to start the timer. The shoot of major is on this roll of film, so I didn't do any pre-testing or anything. Okay, let's get this timer going. 14, 25, start. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and forth and agitate it for 30 seconds. And there's lots of different people have different ways of doing all of these things. So you just kind of have to experiment and find out what is the way that works the best for you. And you have to pay attention to your timer. And okay, so that's 30 seconds, and now I'm going to put it down and I'm going to bang it against the counter, and that is going to dislodge any bubbles that have attached to the film. And if you don't do that, you may get a little round spot on your negative once it's developed. Okay, and I'm going to cut it now. Well, maybe I'll do a couple of agitations. Do a couple of agitations just to have it on film. All right, we have 1 minute left, and I thought I would come on. I just got one more agitation to do. Last minute. It's very exciting, I have to say. It's been a very long time, and this is actually pretty fun. It's a lot of work. Makes it worthwhile because you're going to create something that you know is going to be amazing. But when it hits the end of the time, I'm going to take this little top off and going to put the developer into here, and then I am going to start using water to rinse the film. Now, a lot of people will use stop bath, and that actually is a chemical reaction that's going to stop the film from developing 100%. I am cheating and just using water. You can make your own stop bath. I think it's with the apple vinegar, I think. I'm not sure. Or you can buy stop bath. And but I've always done it with just water, and it uses your fixer a little bit more than it should. Woo! Look at that. It's blue. Did not expect that. All right, now we're gonna run some water through it. So I'm gonna fill it up with water and dump it out a few times. Next up is the fixer. We're gonna pour the fixer in, and fixer is usually around 5 minutes. I also agitate every minute, just like we did for the film. Some people don't do that, but again, you'll find that if you're watching more videos or you're learning from people, everybody has a different way of doing things. And then once you take it out of the, once you take the fixer out, we are going to wash the film. Actually, I think I'm going to do this for maybe 6 minutes, just because like I said, I didn't use stop. So we only have a few seconds left in the fixer, and we're going to dump it out, and then we're going to wash it. Now, once you've washed the film just for a minute or so, you can actually take the cover off, and we can take a look at what the film looks like. I do a couple of rinses with the water, and then I'll open it up. You're going to be right here with me. See, this is nerve-wracking whether this turned out or not. I don't know. I'm nervous. Let's see. Scary. Scary, scary. Ooh, it looks like there's something on here. Oh, look at that. Oh, I don't know whether you can... Look, look, look. It turned out. Oh, we got a light leak. Ho, ho, ho. Yay, we have negatives. Wow, it is pretty satisfying, I have to say, when you bring that out and you see images. All right, we are going to wash this for about 10 minutes. So the only thing after this is hanging it up to dry. You guys don't need to see that. We just use a clothes peg and hang it from one end and put a weight at the other end, another clothes peg, and it'll hang straight. And you want to hang the film somewhere where it's as dust-free as you can be, which is not always easy, but give it a best shot. The next video will be, what are we going to do? Oh, we're going to look at the negatives and we're going to talk about this. We're getting close to the end of this journey. We're going to maybe take photos of the negatives because I don't have a scanner. So we're going to use the camera we already have, the digital camera, and then we're going to play around. If you enjoyed what was happening today, I hope you will subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.